G'day guys and gal, if you've been balls deep in 40k lore for some time, you may have seen the toaster lovers of Mars get referred to as both the Mechanicum and the Mechanicus. I know I've used both hundreds of times in my videos. Are these just synonyms for each other, interchangeable at any moment, or are they actually different? Spoiler, they are extremely different, and knowing when to use each actually does show off a bit of 40k lore aptitude. Ladies, if you're trying to seduce a fat sweaty Warhammer nerd, knowing the difference is guaranteed to improve your chances of getting laid. There is also the Dark Mechanicum, which is an entirely separate thing from the previous two. With the lore of both the Mechanicum and the Mechanicus being super interesting, as well as the reason why the name was changed being intricate, I thought it was worthy of its own video. Before we get started, you may be wondering how I look so fresh and attractive only 1 week post hair transplant surgery, and that's because of my custodian training, but mostly because of my skincare and hygiene to keep me glowing. So I've partnered up with Geology today to impart their secrets onto you as well. If you are not currently doing a skincare routine, look me in the eyes, mate, you need to start. Not only will you literally slow your rate of visible aging, but oily, dry, blotchy, puffy or acne-ridden skin can all be reduced or outright removed by skincare. Even the dark circles under the eyes can be treated. Now that you know that you need to do it, here's the good part. Geology only asks you to fill out a quick survey, then bam, a custom skincare routine with easy to follow instructions will be sent to your door. As an Australian, I guzzle sunscreen like your mother guzzles So for me, my morning cream is SPF 15. This isn't just some dumbed down blokey skincare product with ineffectual ingredients. My lady friends are always asking me to get some stuff for them because it's better than their skincare products. Geology also has natural, awesome smelling deodorants, shampoos, and body washes, so you can sort out your face while sorting out your hygiene as well. The best part is that by using my link, QR code, or Majorkill 70, you'll get a massive 70% off your first skincare package, as well as 30% off an additional product of your choice. Go with the deodorant, it's really good. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll compare and contrast the Mechanicum with the Mechanicus, going over why the name was changed and how the two variations of Mars are different from each other. Let's get into it. So going back in time to even before 30k, Mars was an absolute powerhouse. Due to the presence of the Void Dragon empowering the intelligence of the Martians, the Red Planet was able to use its technology to not only terraform Mars to become a verdant world, but then also survive the Age of Strife mostly intact. During the Age of Strife, Mars most likely was by far the most powerful human civilization in the galaxy. They even once visited Earth to try re-establish the human empire, but were disgusted at how Earth had devolved into an irradiated wasteland full of techno-barbarian warlords fighting for the few remaining resources, so they discounted Earth as a write-off. They were then even able to predict gaps in the warp storms, hence would send through explorator fleets through the storm, which would often end up founding their own forge worlds out in the galaxy, hence why there were so many even before the Great Crusade. During this time, the priests of Mars were the Mechanicum, a proud powerhouse of a civilization. When the Emperor came out of hiding and decided to clap the galaxy's cheeks, he knew he needed the cooperation of Mars. Without their production capacity to build his ships, armor, and weapons, as well as massively expand the GNC production, the Great Crusade would be dead on arrival. So the Emperor triggered a plan that he had been brewing for thousands of years. By placing the Void Dragon on Mars, he not only guaranteed their technological evolution, but he also knew it would create a religion. This religion was the belief in a machine god, an Omnissiah, with a prophecy stating that his physical manifestation would come to them. So the Emperor assumed the role of the Omnissiah and arrived on Mars with a megaship. His first act was to approach a knight, who had a damaged leg, and said, "Heal thyself," using his psychic energy. The knight was instantly repaired, thus fulfilling the prophecy of the Omnissiah. The Emperor proposed a deal between the Imperium and the Mechanicum, partners, not master and servant. If Mars supplied the Great Crusade, they could keep their autonomy and also claim any forge worlds and STCs that they would find. The Fabricator General, Kelborg Hal, did not trust the Emperor and did not believe that he was the Omnissiah, but with most of Mars believing otherwise, he was backed into a corner and accepted the deal. There were some conditions though. The Mechanicum may never explore AI tech, and the Emperor was also allowed to lock up all their no-no machines in a big-ass vault, mostly because these machines were corrupted by chaos. Kelborg begrudgingly accepted. This became known as the Treaty of Olympus. As a fun fact, if Kelborg hadn't accepted, the Emperor was prepared to unleash the Dark Angel Legion alongside a shitload of Dark Age of Technology weaponry to conquer Mars by force. One way or another, he was going to get Mars on side. The Mechanicum would hold up their end of the deal. However, when Horus's male pattern boldness finally broke his will and spirit, causing him to declare jihad in the name of the gods of hell, he approached Kelborg with a deal. Horus promised he would remove all restrictions the Emperor had placed upon the Mechanicum, as well as give them even more freedom, while also throwing in some valuable STCs into the mix to sweeten the deal. Kelborg, who had long resented the Emperor and the fact that Mars had become lesser of two equals in the Imperium, accepted. Mars began oversupplying the traitor legions and undersupplying the loyalists. Traitors were given armor-piercing bolt shells designed specifically to kill space marines, whilst loyalists were given the standard rounds that sucked at penetrating ceramite. Traitors were given more up-to-date power armor, whilst the loyalists were kept a step behind, just shit like that. Mars also erupted into a civil war, as the loyalists and the traitors fought. Despite an epic showing and an epic last stand, like probably one of the best in all of 40k, the loyalists were defeated. The traitors had the element of surprise and were able to wipe out most of the loyalists before the fighting had even started, and they also opened the no-no vault that the Emperor had sealed, giving them access to a lot of fucked up weaponry. When the heresy ended, with the Emperor stomping Horus's balls, then ending up as the galaxy's most powerful lithium battery/vegetable, the Mechanicum suddenly found themselves very exposed. The traitor legions had fled, the traitor guardsmen and cultists had been slaughtered, the demons were gone, and they had the righteous vengeance of the Ultramarines, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Imperial Fists, White Scars, and Blood Angels ready to turbo fuck all traitors to death. Hence Mars was retaken, with Kelborg and his goons escaping into the Eye of Terror to form the Dark Mechanicum. Now, the post-heresy Imperium still very much needed the priests of Mars. Mars was responsible for most of their weapons, armor, ammunition, as well as knights, ships, titans, and much more. Not to mention the Martian military was also a massive asset, so they allowed the loyalist tech priests to retake and control Mars. However, the deal had changed. The Mechanicum was no more. They were now the Adeptus Mechanicus. They were to become an important but subservient wing of the Imperium, no longer an equal partner. The leash was pulled tight, and even more restrictions and control was placed upon the new Adeptus Mechanicus. Mars declaring for Horus was one of the biggest problems for the loyalists. If Mars had stayed loyal, Horus never would have even reached the Sol system, so the Imperium was eager to punish the priests of Mars for their disloyalty. But other than their name, is there actually any difference between the Mechanicum and the Mechanicus? Yes, actually quite a lot. A big theme of 40k, especially for the Imperium, was stagnation and regression. This affected their culture, their society, and their technology. It's only with Belisarius' call getting spicy lately that the Imperium has started moving forward again. However, that wasn't the case in 30k. The Mechanicum was extremely inventive and innovative. Tech priests were constantly inventing things that didn't just come from STCs. For example, that cooked-as kangaroo Skitarii walker actually had a perpetual engine. As a fun note, it was actually impossible to restart if it stopped, as the tech priest who invented it died before he could tell anyone how to turn them back on. So Skitarii have to jump on them as they are running to be able to mount. However, a better example would be Coriel Zeph, the mistress of the Magma City. She built an entire city in a volcano, using the volcano as a near-infinite energy source. Everything about her city was wondrous. She was also one of the first users of the newly invented Noosphere, a new form of data transfer that used light. She also created a machine that would siphon the Astronomicon's light in order to unlock the secrets of the universe, and it nearly worked. Zeth wasn't fucking around. The Mechanicum was super eager to constantly push the boundaries. To them, no knowledge was forbidden, which was a big reason why most of them became traitors. The Mechanicus, on the other hand, had its balls in a vice grip from the Imperium. All their new inventions were regarded with suspicion and suppressed. Eventually, even the Mechanicus themselves saw invention and innovation as dangerous, so they just stuck to the status quo, doing their best to maintain the machines they already had as opposed to making better ones. Any advancements in technology would come via the rediscovery of STCs, as this was considered to be a safe and proven way to advance. This attitude is why from the 31st to the 41st millennium, the Imperium literally had zero apparent technological progression. If anything, it regressed. However, the Mechanicus is returning to its roots with the return of Guilliman. Cole doesn't give a flying fuck about the restrictions on innovation and invention, so he created the Primaris, the Mark X power armor, floating grav tanks, and now he is trying to reverse engineer Necron tech. Many within the Mechanicus dislike him for his blatant disregard of caution, however many others find him inspiring and are now reigniting the spark that made the Mechanicum so awesome all those thousands of years ago. For example, the Mechanicus can't help but explore Necron tomb worlds. My theory is that because the Void Dragon is the heart of the Mechanicus' tech, as well as the heart of the Necron tech, they feel a connection to the Necron technology, kinda like cousins, and have had a surprisingly decent aptitude for it. In contrast, the Mechanicus hates Elder and Tau tech, outright destroying it as opposed to attempting to reverse engineer it or study it. To be honest though, a lot of the differences between the Mechanicus and the Mechanicum are not superficially noticeable. They both have Skitarii, Titans, and so on. They're both quite aloof and quite comedic to read about due to their detached attitudes that provide unintentional comic relief. It's also not like the Mechanicum use more augmetics than the Mechanicus. Arkan Land, one of the most highly regarded tech priests of the Mechanicum, had barely any visible augmentations, whereas Belisarius Cole, the most highly regarded tech priest of the Mechanicus, is a giant mechanical hentai monster. I mean, fuck, the current fabricated general of Mars, Old Oldaraskian, is so mechanical that he is the size of a building, and it's noted that it's actually a massive logistical nightmare anytime he needs to travel to Terra for a meeting with the other High Lords. But regardless, if they look and sound the same, the lore regarding their transition from powerhouse partner to the Emperor to now one of many subservient wings of the Imperium is a fascinating one, showing that loyalty really is the best policy. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we not only have a boatload of Battlemace 40 million hentai, but also live action nude cosplays and high-res custom 40k fan arts. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more mechanical content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.